What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today I'm checking out the CRKT Provoke, which is a weird knife for me to talk about for a couple reasons, but mainly because I've had this knife for a couple years at this point and I've never actually carried it outside of the house, which is super unique amongst my folding knife collection. I carry all my knives and that's usually the first thing I do is try and get as much pocket time as possible with it. And this one's unique because I don't carry it, and so it's not necessarily a safe queen. I'll use it to open packages and stuff at home, definitely fidget with it constantly, but not really a heavy user for me. And so the reason for that is twofold. One is that it's a Karambit, which the main utility of a Karambit is intended as a fighting knife. I never intend to get in a knife fight. I'm not a trained knife fighter, and so not really going to use it for what it's meant to be used for. And as far as other functions that I actually do use knives for, I have better knives for that. And so just kind of from a utility standpoint, it doesn't necessarily make sense for me to carry this regularly. Although I probably would carry it on occasion if it weren't for point number 2, which is I'm just not sure it's safe to carry, to be honest. And the reason I say that is in the closed position, the blade is very exposed. I can get my finger under there if I really want to, although that's not what I'd be most worried about. But the tip is very exposed, so if you have this in a pocket where you have other things or just a pocket that you might put your hand in, it would be very easy on pulling your hand out to get caught on that tip, and it can definitely cut you. And so it doesn't seem super safe. It's also relatively easy to partially deploy. I wouldn't be super worried about it fully deploying in my pocket, but even partially deployed, you're exposing so much more of that blade that again, you're running the risk of cutting yourself. So it doesn't seem like something that I would want to carry, which is why I don't carry it. Now you're probably wondering why I bought a knife that doesn't really serve the functions that I would use the knife for, and also why I haven't just sold it since I don't feel like it's safe to carry. And to be honest, it's just kind of a fun knife. It's interesting. It's got a pretty innovative design at the time, or still innovative, I guess. It's been copied at this point, but that doesn't make it less innovative. And it's just fun to play with, and sometimes that's all that matters, to be honest. Not everything has to be super utilitarian. I just enjoy the knife, and I like the knife even though I don't carry it. It's fun to play with, and that's enough for me. Now this is $100, which is a little bit expensive for a fidget toy if you're going to actually use it for the intended purposes. That seems like a decent price, but again, as a fidget toy, maybe a little bit expensive, but I enjoy it. I like collecting weird knives, and this is a weird knife. So now the knife itself is obviously Karambit. It deploys by pressing down on the top here, and it's very kind of satisfying deployment. It's got a nice thunk to it, and again, really satisfying, super comfortable grip on it. And the lock isn't super innovative. You just kind of push here and deploy it, but in the grip that you would normally carry the knife, there's basically no way to disengage that lock. I mean, technically you probably could. I have a hard time with it, and then the way I do deploy it is removing my hand from that grip, reversing it, and deploying that lock. And so in the natural grip, you can't really deploy it super easily, which hurts the fidgetability just a little bit, but still a super fun and fidgety knife. Now it's got a hawkbill style blade. Not sure if there's really any other utility for hawkbill style blades. It works well enough for opening packages, but probably not necessarily the best knife for that, and not sure it really excels in anything other than, again, as a fighting knife. But if there are tasks where it does excel, definitely correct me down in the comments below. I'm not aware of them, but this is the only Karambit in my collection and the only hawkbill style blade in my collection. I know every once in a while you'll see them in non-Karambits, but you don't see them that often, and I just don't know really where they excel outside of as a fighting knife. But the blade itself is a German steel 1.4116, and it is coated. It's got a little bit of light billboarding on the show side, just the CRKT logo, but a little bit heavier on the non-show side with the name of the knife, the Provoke, all of the patents, which I hate when knife companies put the patents on the blade itself. Would definitely prefer they just put it on the box or the manual or whatever inside of the box, but not that big a deal, I guess. And then the maker mark, which is Caswell Knives, designed by Joe Caswell. So super cool, just kind of innovative design, and I definitely enjoy that about it. The dimensions of it, 2.41 inch blade, 4.96 inch handle, and 7.37 inches overall. And a weight of 4.7 ounces, which is pretty heavy for this size blade. But it doesn't feel super heavy in the hand. It feels pretty good. Pretty thick blade on it at 0.2 inches, really thick blade stock here. So not going to be super slicey. It does taper down towards the tip, but it's extremely thick here, down here at the base. Grivory handles, I think they call this green. It's more of a highlighter yellow to me. Maybe I'm blind, I don't know. But it looks more of a highlighter yellow to me. It does have a tip down pocket clip. It is not reversible, it is removable. But kind of a unique design here. It's this round the hole is the pocket clip, and to use it you just kind of press down at the top and it opens that up a little bit so you can slide that over your pocket. But a little bit of an interesting design there. And overall comfortable no matter how I'm holding it, whether I'm holding it kind of in this direction or the more traditional kind of standard direction. It's really very comfortable either way. This is made in Taiwan, so take that with what you will. I think that's pretty standard for CRKT. But again, $100, if you're going to use it for a fighting knife, if you actually know how to use fighting knives, or if you have some utility for it, it doesn't seem so bad. It does feel a little bit expensive for what I use it for, but that doesn't really take away from my enjoyment of the knife. Definitely let me know down in the comments below what you think of this knife, if you have this one or other Karambits. Also, if there's other utilities where the hawkbill really excels and what I should be using this knife for outside of just the kind of opening packages and fidgeting. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And as always, I hope you have a great one. Take care.